Well, I just finished putting up this MAXXMMA punching bag set, and I really like it. It has good smooth movement, and when you punch it, it responds really well, better than I do. But I wanted to tell you this to start with. If you bought one of these, it looks like a pretty substantial construction, but the instructions are terrible. Throw them away, because they have errors starting on step 1, step 2, step 3. And if you follow this video, I'll walk you through very carefully how you should put this together and have it end up working well for you. I hope you join me on this journey. The first thing I would recommend doing is laying all your parts out in like sizes. And so I have the wood cross pieces over here, and these wood cross pieces are going to have these metal brackets going vertical on them, and the wood brackets cross pieces have threaded brass inserts, and these here are Allen headed bolts, and they're going to be going through these cross pieces and into these cross pieces and holding that in place. So just so you'll know what those are for. These smaller bolts, washer and lock nut, are going to hold this swivel on up underneath the punching bag. And these Allen headed bolts are going to be used to hold the whole round board up against the bracket that you're putting. Now there's two ways to have this mounted. If you're going into a cement wall, they have these expansion bolts that you can use, and you would drill holes, put those in, and as you tighten this nut, this would splay out and expand to hold it in the wall. Or you can use lag screws, and I've already used some of the lag screws, so I purchased a few more. But these lag screws, I think they're 3.5 inches long, and they'll go into a 2x4 and a second 2x4 and hopefully hit a stud. And these are shorter ones that I'm going to need for my application. Some tools that might be helpful if you want to drive these in: this is a 13mm socket with a socket driver. You can do this with a wrench, just a crescent wrench, but this here is a lot easier to drive them in, and that will hold the entire setup to the wall. These are the pieces that will be holding the circular piece of wood that the punching bag is attached to, and these will slide on, as you will see, to the rails I have. Back here you can see the last pieces I have. This is the punching bag and a pump that goes with it. And I'm going to use a level when I get it up there so I can make sure that punching bag is level just like it should be. Okay, here's step 1. You're going to take this bottom cross piece and then these two vertical standards and look for the one that has these holes punched in the side. It's going to go on the right, and the holes are going to go to the right. And then you're going to take this Allen bolt, set it, and you're going to connect it only on the bottom piece, not on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and connect this up. I'll just do it hand tight to start with. Generally, when you do things like this, you don't want to cinch them down and make them super tight until you have it just the way you want it. Now, after you have these in, I'm going to snug them up just a little bit with the Allen wrench. Quick little snug up. I hope my head's not in the way. Now, after I've done that, this piece here with this protrusion coming out is going to slide in here. So this slides down here. And then after you have that slid in, you can go ahead and attach this top one through here, and I'll do that off screen. And then I will slide this one down and attach the top there, and I'll do that off screen. Now just to review, I put the bolts and washers on the bottom piece of crosswood, snug them down with the Allen wrench, and then I slid these pieces here down on the bars, and then I'm just snugging it down a little bit at the top. So after you have this set up, it's going to be a little bit wobbly, but then you're going to take this contraption, it's a spring-loaded pin, and it fits in here, and you can thread it in, and this is the one that will select the different holes that will go into. When you go to put this compression spring in, you push the spring pretty hard until you catch a thread, and then what I would assume is find a place where there's a hole, and then after you get this in, you can go ahead and set it up so it will find that hole. These knobs here, I would just, while you're setting this up, go ahead and put them in here just to hold this thing from falling over, and do that with all 4 of them. I'm now going to use this square to make sure I have these right at 90 degrees, and they're not, so I'll just tweak it over and bend it until it is. And then I'll do the same thing on the other one. So now I took this board and I put it on some toweling so I won't scratch anything. I have my swivel here. You can see the holes line up easily. And then I'm going to take, and I have these 4 bolts, and they're going to go through here, and because these are beveled down, they'll fit real nicely in there. So I'm going to go through and put all 4 of them in. Now they give you a little pump. Make sure you lick the needle and make it wet when you insert the needle in there. I pumped mine a little, probably a little harder than I should have. When you come down to attach this to the swivel, there's a little ball bearing in here that's spring loaded. If you depress that with your thumbnail and pull it out, then this whole thing can come out, I think. Yeah, there we go. And then you can slide this in here like this, get it through, and once you've gotten it through, you can set it back inside here and push this through. It's really pretty easy to do, and then when you get it through, it snaps, and there you go. Okay, and the reason I put it on there is because I want to see how much it hangs down so I can set the thing on the wall according to my height. A lot of the pros say that you should be looking at this about eye level right here. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do. You can see that I have this all propped up on towels, and we have these 4 holes that are going to go into the metal bracket, and we're going to use a washer on this side. Washer, bolts coming through here, and I'm going to lift this up and get it into the hole. And then luckily I have my grandson Luca here that's going to help me. Oops, Luca, can you get that over there? Okay, and then Luca's going to finger tighten those nuts on there. And once they get finger tightened, the thing can't fall apart too much. Well, I got it all set up here. And what I had to fool around with was what's the correct height for me to set it at. And a lot of the things said that when you're in your boxing stance, you should be staring at the center of the ball or the bag. And so that seems to work pretty well for me. And what that means, if I'm staring at it, my eyes are staring about at the middle of this bottom bolt. And that sets it good for me. And I can go up several notches, and I can set it down one for my grandson. And just for your information, using those lag screws, I use this drill bit that is, let me check it out here. This drill bit is 7/32, and I use that to make a pilot hole into this 2x4, and then finally I use this driver and to drive these in here and snug them up good and tight. And it seems to be working really well. I know this isn't the most expensive one you could get, but the swivel is just without vibration or squeak, and the motion is very good. The only bad thing about it is the user. I'm out of shape and I'm old, but I think it's going to be fun to play with and just get my timing down and stuff. So I hope this helped you a little bit and get you on your ski bag and having a lot of fun with it. There it goes.